see a similar game here. I say a similar game. A similar mindset from both teams coming into this game in terms of plan. So let's have a look then through the bans. Lee Sin banned straight away. Sorry, hyrqBot, not today. Vayne going to be banned against CandyPanda as well. However, that's been happening a lot, and he's been picking up other champions. Twitch and Ash come to mind from that one. So we'll see what happens here in this game. Jarvan the fourth taken away against Malunoo, and also against hyrqBot. That's one of his big junglers to go to as well. Surprising there.
This is
Deficio taken out against Bjergsen, and then Elise removed against Kevin.
This is not good for SK. They have to take away Shen right now. They have to take him away, because every time NiP have had Shen on Mimer, or Mimer on Shen, whichever way it goes, Bjergsen's played a very heavy assassin, and he's always gone split pushing by himself. And with that, it was always a 2v3 because Mimer would come in just to save him, and the rest of NiP would push. They need to take away Shen. There's no way they can let that through. And they let Caitlyn. Actually, they banned Caitlyn instead against Freeze, who's been playing her quite a bit. And now the Shen gets locked in. So now Bjergsen, we're going to see him pick up an assassin, and SK, they have to be prepared for this, or this will be their downfall.
Are SK going to pick Zed here?
All right.
Looks like it. Ocelote has played a lot of Zed, and maybe that's the thought of leaving this Shen open. You know, let him have the Shen, but take two champions that we feel are absolute comfort for us. That Zed is going to get locked in, and they're going to take the Thresh here for Nyph as well.
And the thing is, that Zed, it's not necessarily mid lane. We've seen Kevin play it before. But right now what I'm thinking is, Bjergsen, he's undefeated on Ahri. Will he go that again? Because, I mean, it's not an assassin. Well, I mean, you can play like an assassin if you build like a DFG. I'm trying to think if it does that well against Zed, because we've seen Bjergsen destroy Ocelote playing Zed versus, actually that was Peke, Zed versus Ahri. So I don't know, because he's got to go some sort of assassin. That's what he's been playing best. Like his Orianna support utility mid laners, crap. They're just terrible for him. I'm just going to say it bluntly, it really has been, and I really hope we do see some sort of assassin come out of him, because that's what's been working well for NiP, and why would you fix or change something that doesn't need to be fixed?
That's very true. We've said that time and time again here. And NiP right now, you can see there's a lot of discussion going on. They're hovering over the Twitch, which means they could do that. Very much surprise of the submarine with the Shen coming in with last stand, and all of a sudden you got two champions on top of your head, and that is not going to happen. They switch very, very last second here to Zyra. So you, my friend, were totally wrong in terms of the head-to-head when we talked about Nyph being the Zyra man and, you know, Thresh and Army over for Deficio. Rolls a little bit reverse this time around, and look at CandyPanda. He's like, yes, they didn't take the Twitch. I am going to lock that in instantly. I want to play the Twitch this time around with that Vayne out there.
Watch us see a Nami locked in. And then it's a complete role reversal.
I wonder if Freeze is going to go Ash with this. With the Zyra, because that's a lane that SK mostly here in Europe have been playing.
There is that option. However, Zyra middle as well. I think it was NiP I was talking to, and they were saying Zyra mid's actually really strong still, and we play her.
Yeah.
And against a Zed, I mean...
Well, the funny thing is, it was Cowtard, let's not forget, who always brought that Zyra mid in there. It's not going to be. It's not going to be. Twisted Fate is open this time around here for Ninjas in Pyjamas, which all instantly makes them a very dangerous team with a Shen and a Twisted Fate. That is a lot of global presence from this one. Are we going to see Draven coming in? Now, Draven obviously had his changes. Freeze did play a lot of Draven before then, but we've not really seen him coming through after the bleed from that passive was taken down. Yeah,
so he was 3 for 3 with Draven before that patch. He's played it once since, lost that game. Okay, good. He just changed away from the Draven because...
Wow, they changed completely, so...
Oh, so Diana, so we are going to see a heavy assassin of Bjergsen here, and that is, that's going to be dangerous, because if Ocelote gets in range of Bjergsen middle, like the melee duel they're going to have, is going to be very terrifying for Ocelote here, but this is going to be a crazy game. This really is. I'm just looking at it, and I'm kind of worried for SK, because now we're seeing hyrqBot on Vi. I don't even think we've seen him on Vi, the split, so he must have been practicing it quite a bit, and then SK, they're all AD.
We're going to be seeing here as well, when it comes to team fights, absolute chaos.
Yeah, look at those, Joe.
Look at those, look at those comps. I'm just going to say they've all gone into the middle of a fight. Who comes out? Nobody knows. Because you've got Malfighters going there. You've got Vi, you've got Zed. On the other side, you've got Shen, you've got Zac, you've got Diana. Like, they're all diving straight into each other from this one. This could turn out to be a real highlight game.
I think SK is running that Vi for a certain reason, to counter Bjergsen. Because
well, I'll also tell you that hyrqBot, being my best French friend in the world, takes a lot for me to say that as an Englishman.
upset now.
Yeah, okay. That his go-to champion that he's been practicing after Lee Sin is Vi.
Okay.
He has played a lot of Vi coming into Super Week. So he said, if Lee Sin gets banned, I'm going out to Vi next of all. So we're going to see that this time around from him.
And it's a smart pick, too, because the thing is, with him and ocelote roaming around to stop Bjergsen, use the Vi ultimate, follow up with the Zed ultimate, that person's going to die. So it kind of counters Bjergsen's split push kind of style, but still, you have that Shen global. Mimer's done so well on it. He hasn't been defeated yet. He's actually 2 for 2 on it right now. And then Malunoo on Zach, he's 3 for 3. So we're looking at some very strong statistics right now for NiP and SK. The pressure, oh man. The pressure that's on their shoulders right now, if they lose, they are not in. They have to play against alternate for a potential to get in as 6th place.
Not gonna lie, Jason, I'm really nervous at this point. Not to be casting in front of all you lovely people out there at home, but for both of these teams, because as you said, the pressure is on right now, and this game means pretty much everything coming in. I mean, the fact is that if SK win, we already know who's through. We already know who's not going through, maybe even more importantly. An SK win here means that alternate and Meet Your Makers are in 7th and 8th place. Doesn't matter what happens in the last game.
And the thing is, NiP, yeah, they're qualified. But this game, if they win this and Gambit win, they go to 3rd place. Which, honestly, it might be a good or bad thing depending on the result of the SK alternate match, which would have to happen in a tiebreaker, because they would be playing the 6th place team.
All crazy, crazy stuff here, guys, that's for sure. As we get into game, Ninjas in Pyjamas versus SK Gaming. Let's talk here about level 1, because SK are actually setting up in the bottom bush with all 5 men.
They want to catch someone out right here, and it looks like if they let this hook on freeze, he's screwed.
Ooh, so close to that one. Are they going to go through? They know that they are there. They saw the hook coming through. Malunoo is now waiting up in that top brush, but he's pretty much alone. Shen, right now, is not there with the team. He is headed down. There's a ward on the bottom side from Nyph. They've all passed through this ward here. SK doing a lap of victory. We'll find out about that later or not. Around the red buff, and they're going to head back into their own jungle.
And Joe, I really don't expect anything early to happen between these two teams. If anything, it would come out of NiP's side since they realize they're already qualified. But SK, they're going to take this one very slow. They have to be very methodical because they don't want to lose this game out. And there's a lot of history between these two teams where in the entirety of LCS, between spring and summer, SK have won 6 times and NiP's only won once. That's got to feel bad for SK, or actually good for SK, but bad for NiP. And SK, they might be able to pull out a 7th time here.
Well, this would be the time to do it if none other. The final week here, Super Week of our summer split. And at the start, it looks like we're going to have some pretty standard stuff going on after all that. A blue buff start for hyrqBot with Vi, and a red buff start for Malunoo on Zach.
And that Poise is going to be very careful of it. He might get stolen away from him. But, yeah, so I'm just going to do some standard starts here, and...
He did... no.
Nope, didn't take it. So hyrqBot luckily got it right there, but...
I didn't see hyrqBot tick over to level 2 there, which worried me for a little second, but...
That was the 3.10 change. You had to kill the small ones, too, and if anything... And I'm sorry if you guys are going to annoyed with this, but the dragon control, particularly between these two teams, where SK, they've done 2 4-minute dragons against NiP, when on average they do it in about 7 minutes. And they also have 11 dragons to 3 against NiP.
That's it. That's a big statistical advantage to now, but...
And considering that NiP have the worst amount of dragons taken over the summer split, like they are 8th place in that, that's going to be a big thing for them because that's what's won them games. Being able to control that dragon's been able to really get them rolling.
Here comes a hook, and straight down the middle of the 2 there. Freeze, who is a danger man here for SK, that's for sure, because he's done so well. He's moved into this NiP team as the AD carry, replacing the test from earlier on in the season, has really grown into that role as well. He's been critically acclaimed from the likes of Edward as possibly the best AD carry in Europe. We'll have to see about that. It's hard to really put a value on that at this point, but either way, he's going to be a danger to them. But a standard start, as I said, duo lanes down the bottom, the 1v1 of Shen Malphite in the top, and it's Bjergsen on Diana versus ocelote Zed in middle.
And I want to go back to Freeze real quick, just in terms of composition with the Ezreal versus a Vi Zed. So he's going to go for the Iceborne Gauntlets eventually. which helps him kite really well because SK have a phenomenal team of diving into him with just those two champions. So he has to be very careful. He needs to be protected very well. And luckily for him, he does have a Diana to pull them back. He does have a Shen to ult him. He does have a Zac to knock them up. And not to mention the String of Thorns coming out of Deficio. So it's all going to be about SK. Can they kill Bjergsen and get to freeze? And for NiP, it's just, can they survive the initiate that SK is going to pull out?
Well, something tells me that we may be in for a bit of a slower start to this game. Pressure massively high between these two teams. SK know that with a victory here, they'll join Ninjas in Pyjamas and be qualified for the playoffs. As Ocelot there putting down some damage onto Bjergsen. That shield really helping Bjergsen here to, you know, not lose too much health through all the harassment that Ocelot can put down.
Yeah, he's really sitting at 63 armor, so that's going to help quite a bit against Ocelot. But here comes hyrqBot. But actually might be countered here because Malunoo was waiting on the sidelines. He wasn't spotted, but SK realized that there's something fishy going on because they're even pinging it.
Yeah, they've actually backed away from that one completely there. And hyrqBot just heading back into his jungle and continue along his farming path. Bottom lane, seeing a bit of damage exchange between the two, but not really too much to write home about. The CS is in a slight advantage here currently for freeze, though.
I'm actually curious how big of an advantage it is right now because obviously with the plants that Deficio puts out, it applies to the CS counter, gives you 5 gold. And right now he's already up 6 CS, so I wonder how many plants has CandyPanda killed at this point?
Well, I'll have to see about that and how it translates through later. hyrqBot actually around the top area there, but realizing I think that he can't really get too much done. And Kevin going to be forced to farm underneath the turret. But here comes Malunoo. Stood on a pink ward. He's not getting anything from this. I'm trying to bait this jump out here. Malunoo actually decides he's not going to elastic slingshot in there. No action at bottom for now.
And that's great, just ward control. But here comes Vi again in the middle lane. Bjergsen, he'll be able to escape without even being hit yet.
Ocelot actually using his shadows just to dash back away there. Taking a decent chunk of damage and wondering if at level 6 there's a possibility of an all-in here from Ocelot. Flash Ignite is what he's actually started with. Needs to be a little bit wary. Malunoo coming up expecting that level 6 to be ticking over. He's actually going to dive straight in towards Ocelot here. Are they going to be able to catch on to him? He's level 6 here now, Bjergsen. There is the Ignite going down and the first blood will come in there. It's Bjergsen that picks it up.
So you were right, Joe, but for the wrong team.
Yeah.
But yeah, we even saw Malunoo. He went in a little bit early because Bjergsen just hit 6 right when he went in. And as you can see, a 30 KDA on Zac with Malunoo. And that just shows how well he plays him. And we were approaching that point where wards were going to start running out unless the jungles were going to refresh him. And you knew something was going to happen somewhere. And this is a fantastic start for NiP. Bjergsen coming back with the Seeker's Arm Guard. Already has the 1 kill under his belt. We saw what he can do earlier on today when he starts to get those kills. And SK, they got to be a little worried now.
Got to be worried, that's for sure. He starts roaming with that Diana. Things could get very, very hairy for them. Let's not forget, we do have a teleport over with SK, by the way. I didn't really touch on that earlier on. Kevin going with that one on his Malphite, so he'll be able to follow Mimer around the map should he leave that lane with the Stand United now that he's at level 6.
And we're going to rinse that problem of, wow.
Yeah.
That was just one bit of harass, and that is, Bjergsen's got to feel good. He has to feel in control of this lane, and Ocelot is going to really have a tough time building this back, because we always talk about him being very momentum-based, the entire team, but him in particular, because he's the one that drives their team and their energy, and if he's having a bad day, it kind of goes through the entire team, and he needs to be able to change that around, or at least prevent his anger or whatever from coming out.
Yeah, he's a very mood-based player. Yeah. If things are going well, then he'll do really well as well, but if it goes the other way around, that can sometimes throw him off his game. So we'll see about that one. hyrqBot here gonna have that blue buff.
That's smart, actually.
Yeah.
I think he realizes if Ocelot did get it, he would probably die middle against Bjergsen. So he's gonna keep for himself, get the
it'd certainly be a juicier target for Bjergsen.
Yeah, exactly.
If that blue buff was circling in there in that mid lane.
Malunoo is now 6 too, and Ocelot doesn't have a flash, so if he comes in, that's pretty much, I wouldn't say almost a guaranteed kill. Obviously Ocelot does have his Shadow Clones to get away though.
His blue buff gonna be given over though, of course, to Bjergsen. He's gonna need that more than Ocelot will in that lane. Bottom lane, 69 to 54 CS, so Freeze really doing a fantastic job here now of the CS. That lead, since we last talked about it, has grown quite significantly. And he'll continue to farm happily underneath his tower without any problems. NiPh actually looking to go back here. Stood on top of ward, but NiP gonna let him go.
I think they're gonna shove it real quick. Wait for them to back out, shove it, and then go back and buy, because Freeze, he's a lot of money to spend, a lot more than, right now than CandyPanda can spend. I don't know, what is he going to build into? Is he going to go for his tier right away? Or is he going to build some sort of damage item off the bat just to kind of make it so his first buy doesn't give him, or so his first buy does give him extra damage, which a tier wouldn't?
So Ocelot actually going back.
Okay, so he has
picked up an elixir from this one. So he already had that no magic mantle plus the 2 long swords from earlier on. So he's gone back, picked himself up. Or was it the elixir? Or
no,
was it was
he's had that since level 1.
Yeah, he's had it since earlier. It was actually the wards that he picked up, or ward, or maybe wards, because there's one down on the south side at the moment. So he went back there, left the lane, and actually just went back for the ward. So he's feeling a little bit vulnerable in that mid lane.
As he should. I mean, as Zach, you're going to level up your Elastic Slingshot as your first skill. And that means you can jump in from a much farther range. hyrqBot, though, they know Malunoo's there. They want to be able to turn this around. And it's just, it's not happening. I mean, hyrqBot, he's committing a lot of time middle. We haven't seen the junglers even visit the top lane. And just as I say that, Malunoo will be coming up there. But Kevin, I mean, he's a rock. You're not going to push a rock out of a lane right now.
No, and he's got that Giant's Belt from the start as well. Malunoo going to charge up that Elastic Slingshot here. Goes in on top of him. Is he going to waste? Let's bounce. No, look at that. From all that, Kevin not really being touched.
Ooh.
And look at this. SK again, going for that early dragon that we talked about.
Yeah, I mean, they've done it so many times against NiP. They 11-3 in terms of the series so far in the entirety of LCS. And they're going to get another one. And we talked about NiP needing to get these dragons. I mean, needing to contest them, needing to hold on to them because it's been their downfall in the past.
Brilliant stuff from SK Gaming. That gives them a gold lead at this stage. And it's a very slim one here as CandyPanda actually getting caught up. The play comes down with the box as well. The hook actually landing on towards Freeze here. They need to be careful. Shen actually headed down towards his bottom lane, but so is Kevin. And that will pretty much nullify this fight as Kevin is going to get rooted up, gets taunted up. Still got more than half of his health, and now they turn it around to batter away on Mimer as hyrqBot comes down towards his bottom lane. There are 4 men now there for SK. Will they try and push through?
I think they might be able to. However, Bjergsen's already coming down from that mid lane, and if SK stick around too long, yeah, he's going to be able to turn this one around. And I think NiP might have gotten a little lucky there because they knew Dragon was just taken. They knew Vi was at the bottom side of the map, and they actually started to back away, even though they had CandyPanda so low on health, because I think they were expecting Vi to come around. But they were able to blow Kevin's teleport instead, which actually works out for them very well.
Well, there is the catch actually on towards Mimer. He's going to take a lot of damage from this one. Are they going to be able to get into finish? Not quite. The poison is ticking away, and Unstoppable Force wasn't actually used there by Kevin, so he decided not to go for that one off to the side. He's going to try and zone them through the bush. He's actually going to get his recall cancelled here, I guess, from Deficio. Yep, and we'll just drop the plants in there. But the rest of SK have taken the turret down to about half HP. Bjergsen, though, on the other hand, trying to do the same in mid lane because Ocelot wandered off to top.
And oh, we see Deficio getting caught. There. He's going to die.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage coming in. Here comes Kevin from the side. Unstoppable Force comes down. Deficio a dead man. The kill goes over to Kevin. Going to take a lot of tower damage, but they're going to have the turret.
And it looks like they actually might lose one middle as well. Ocelot wasn't in the lane, but he's going to be coming down right now. And funny enough, in all their games so far, SK have gotten the first turret every single time except once.
Ocelot is actually fighting here in the middle against Bjergsen. And he's thrown everything at him.
What?
Look at the health on Bjergsen.
Shield. Yeah, he didn't break through Diana's shield. I mean, obviously he didn't do a lot of damage after the mark was applied, but still, that kind of shows you how much of a lead Bjergsen has in this lane.
Well, why does that leave us on gold? We've now tied a turret apiece, 1 kill apiece. SK have the lead with the dragon, and they're right now 400 gold above their opponents. The kills, obviously, 1 for Diana, who's now got a Zhonya's Hourglass in there, so that gives Bjergsen pretty much the counter to Zed.
Yeah, and at 12 minutes in, he's able to pick that one up. Not to mention the extreme amount of AP it gives you as well. But Ocelot, I mean, we were talking about him, you know, not doing so well so far because of that first step, but he's been doing a fantastic job in CS. He's been keeping up with Bjergsen very well by taking, you know, his own jungle many of times and obviously pushing that lane out as fast as possible. So he's obviously going to have a lot of damage as the game goes on. And if he can catch Freeze and kill him with his combo, then they have a fight that they can win in a team, or they can win a team fight from that.
So blue buff here, started by hyrqBot. Thought Malunoo was trying to come for a look there, but actually warded just on the corner brush and not over the top of the wall. Bjergsen going to be able to get his own blue buff here. He certainly doesn't need any help with it now, up towards level 9, and you see how fast he's able to take that away. So AD carries a tier coming in now for Freeze on that Ezreal with a BF sword as well. Other side, Cutlass double Doran's Blades, and pretty much the Berserker Greaves as well for CandyPanda.
Yeah, so this gives CandyPanda a little bit of time to catch up in damage right now, because with the tier buy, you're not getting extra damage. You're just getting... I mean, you technically do, because you can Mystic Shot a lot more, but in terms of just raw damage that comes out, you won't. So it gives him a little bit of chance to catch up right there, and you'll have that Bilgewater Cutlass to get that slow in. And right now, hyrqBot, he wants to go for a gang bottom. Like, he wants to make it so CandyPanda can have a nice time, or an easier time, because he's been such an integral part of their team when they win. But Bjergsen now, he's not ganking, he's just pushed up to that second turret.
He is not scared, is he? Just moving straight up there. He knew that Ocelote had gone for that red buff, and he decides, I'm just going to push for now. And now we see Malunoo coming down. So the junglers may get involved from this one. Malunoo's position is going to be given away. Our Ninjas in Pyjamas just looking for that second turret here.
Oh no, Bjergsen's coming down. This could be terrible for SK if they do pinch them in.
They spotted him though. Ocelote has called that one. They know that Bjergsen is actually headed down. They're going to be 3 men here on the turret. hyrqBot actually going to go in on towards Bjergsen. They go for NiP here as he will flash away. The box goes down. Here is Malunoo. He's going to let's bounce among them all. Bjergsen here, look how much health he's got. The shield from Shane coming in as well, but he will see Malunoo getting his passive pop from this one. Mimer did come down obviously as well, and well, overall, no one died after all that. After everything that was used there, no death.
Are they going to get the turret though? Yeah, it looks like they're going to stick around for that one, and we actually saw Kevin. He tried to stop Mimer's ultimate, but it failed. He was able to at least appear in this bottom lane, but now Kevin might be able to push that top turret down as a response.
How did it fail?
As in, he didn't hit him with it.
Oh, he missed.
Well, yeah,
okay.
That one.
That's not ideal, obviously, but Kevin, on the other side, I was just about to say may have this turret away. Well, that was smart thinking from Freeze. True Shot Barrage comes across to stop it.
So I went back to look at what he did. He went for a blind ultimate into the top lane bush between the first and inner turret.
That's not where he was.
He even flashed for it, but Mimer, he actually went somewhere else. He actually went more towards his base, so he was able to do that for free, but honestly, that was... I like that attempt by Kevin. That was a very ballsy play. It didn't work out, but stuff like that can really turn around a game.
Well, right now, in terms of the game, we're bang even on gold. The turret lead going over to Ninjas in Pyjamas, but the big thing coming up here is Dragon.
And right now, NiP does not have the ultimate off of Mimer. They don't have the Zac ultimate with Malunoo. Freeze doesn't have his ultimate up either, and this is free pickings for SK.
There's a ward in there, and look at SK. They are very, very wary of this one. Deficio gonna throw the plants in there. Bjergsen and Mimer actually going for turrets right now, but this Dragon is gonna go over to SK, but they have lost that top turret. And
maybe more.
Yeah.
Kevin's still sticking around. Bjergsen does some hefty damage, but in the end, I guess not much else traded other than that.
So, a very tense game here still. Let's just catch you back up if you're just joining us. Oh, actually, forget that, because Bjergsen is going in there on Kevin. So yeah, if you're just joining us and you're not familiar with the standings, you can go check them out over on lolesports.com first of all. But basically, things are very close. NiP are already guaranteed to be in the playoffs. The question here from this one is, if SK can win, can they join them? If they lose, they'll have to play alternate in a tiebreaker game to decide that.
Yeah, and that's obviously not the position they want to be in here. And NiP, I mean, it's definitely a win they want to pick up. They have that possibility of getting 3rd place, or finishing at 3rd place, and they would be up against the winner of SK and alternate in terms of that within the first round of the playoffs. But right now we see a lot of items coming in, a lot of items finally coming around being completed. We have that Boy of the Rune King done on CandyPanda. We're going to have a Bloodthirster done relatively soon on Freeze, which is going to help so much. It's going to allow him to poke a lot. And then Bjergsen, I want to know what he's going to build up next. He has a Sork Boots, so he has a little bit more penetration, a little bit more damage. And you already see SK responding, like they're building up some magic resist to stop that.
Oh, look at this. Bjergsen actually going in onto Kevin there. Realized that hyrqBot was actually in that top brush and decides, nope, not going to risk anything at this stage. I'm just going to back away from things. Malunoo would come up there to maybe offer him some cover, but in the end, that's all pretty much a no-go, that fight.
And right now, you can kind of see a result of that first kill that Bjergsen got on Ocelote in terms of his items. So he went for a Hex Drinker. I would imagine that if Ocelote won the 1v1 and got that kill over him, he actually would have invested into a Brutalizer first to eat through that armor that Bjergsen was able to pick up. But because he didn't win that, because he has to play more defensive, he went for more of a defensive item. And he's trying to do exactly what Bjergsen is, just going around the map, split pushing himself. But Bjergsen, they're feeding so much farm to him. He's been middle pushing, he's been top pushing, he's now bottom pushing. And they're really putting all their eggs in one basket here, I feel like.
Well, it could be a good basket, a solid basket with that.
A Danish basket.
A Danish basket with that Zhonya's Hourglass in there to give him some real nice protection. There's Ocelot getting the first blue of the game for him. Bjergsen going to have one on the other side. Red buff went over to Freeze for NiP as well. So a bit of a slower stage now of this one. Neither team really looking for that big of an opening and to set something bigger up. That Dragon obviously will be a point of contention a little bit later on, but that's got a while until it comes back into the game.
And hyrqBot, he is waiting for Bjergsen to come down to this bottom lane to clear this wave out. They might try to go for a kill here, but Bjergsen, he has Flash, he has Zhonya's available. Not to mention Mimer's ultimate is up.
There we are, they're going to go into it. The death mark is down, and he uses actually that Zhonya's to get rid of all the damage there from the death mark. Ocelot have to try and get away. hyrqBot's actually going to ulti on him. SK going to turn this one around, but Ocelot going, he's going to die. This might be a colossal miscalculation. Lucky for him, the dark passage from Nyph was coming away, and they're able to walk away for now, but hyrqBot just got clipped there by the true shot barrage of Freeze flying across the map. They're going to try and walk away, but look at that. Malunoo actually jumping over the top. Couldn't quite get in range to catch hyrqBot, but that's what happens. Zhonya's Hourglass against Zed, I'm afraid.
And the thing is, that was a 1v2. Like, SK, they knew their threat. They knew who they wanted to kill. They just couldn't do it. Asa ends up paying the price tag. He ends up dying, though he does get a Blade of the Rune King. And the rest of NiP are like, all right, cool. We'll push your middle inner turret, and they're going to get that for free. And now NiP, in the hands of Bjergsen, doing so well, so farmed right now, 212 CS to the 174 of Ocelot, are kind of looking to start making the place happen, start to be a little aggressive here.
So, one thing that I said before this game about the whole NiP versus Lone Dogs, SK versus Gambit games where they had no chance and they didn't really fight for towers. SK have not really fought for towers in this one either. They've got the or they've had at least, let's say, the control of the Dragon up until now. But it's been a bit of a strange game overall.
Yeah, so the bottom turret of theirs, they were up against 5 members of NiP, so they just let that one fall. The middle lane, though, they let that turret go for free because they were pushing bottom. The inner turret, they let that one go because Ocelot died. And then the top lane, they just weren't in the right position. So it just seems like NiP is taking advantage of where SK is at that time and just kind of out-positioning them every single time.
Well, Bjergsen is certainly... I mean, who would have guessed it, after all? Bjergsen playing an assassin. He's almost got that Rabadon's death cap now added in. And
I'm scared when he gets that. I really am for SK because they couldn't deal with them with 2 people. They're going to send a 3rd person at that point, and Bjergsen might be able to turn that around too.
All right, now Malunoo is waiting down the bottom. Are they going to try and have another go on towards Ocelot, who says, nope, I am not fancying this one whatsoever. You can have that farm, and I am leaving. I am off from this one. We've got 40 seconds until the Dragon comes up. Now, I feel like NiP are going to be stronger now at this point, which they weren't necessarily in those last 2 times that they were picked up. So we'll see if they actually end up going over to it this time around.
And the thing is that while Bjergsen's been getting fed, Mimer's actually been falling behind in CS. He's actually down 50 CS currently right now to Soaz. However, Freeze has been farming up quite well. He hasn't widened his gap between him and CandyPanda, but he's stacking the tier. He has that Sheen, he has that stacked Bloodthirster, so he can poke them out so much before they actually do go for the engage. And now with Kevin backing, he picks up a Spectral Cow. He might teleport into this Dragon if SK gets vision of it, but NiP with Bjergsen there shredding through it.
Yeah, down to less than half already. SK start to come in, but this is going to be the first Dragon of the game for NiP. Are they going to follow in? Yes, they are. True Shot Barrage comes across. Nyph loses half of his life. Let's Bounce comes right in there as well. Nyph is a dead man, no question. There is the Strangled Thorns as well. Ocelot going very, very low from this. It's right now a 1-for-1. Ocelot has to back away from the side. There's another kill back, this time onto Freeze. And I tell you what, Deficio is going to try and escape this, but hyrqBot is going to be able to lock him down. Ocelot managing to get a bit of damage in there as well. And this is going to be another one. So a 1-for-3 there for SK Gaming. They lost the Dragon, though.
Right. Yeah, no.
Forgot a word.
Yeah, and right now that fight...
They're going to have this turret. That's a big addition to that fight.
That is a huge pickup, and that is all due to Bjergsen not getting his Zhonya's off. He was killed before he could use it, and because of that, Mimer could not get into that fight, could not taunt anyone, lock them down, and SK taking advantage of that situation, like you said, getting those kills, getting a turret off of it, and they pretty much bring the gold lead back to dead even. Fantastic job by SK.
And look at this, they're putting pressure now onto that bottom inner turret. They're not going to be able to take it. There's 3 men coming down there from NiP, and they decide probably wisely as well to start to back away. So, one thing that's we're not seeing too much of at this stage is deeper warding now. Both teams have got that outer turret down in the mid lane. That's where we'll usually see a few wards going down towards the enemy jungle, but at this stage, you know, both and granted, both supports actually have oracles on as well, so whatever was there will have been cleared out by now. But the fact is, if you look at some of the other teams, they have really put a lot more wards down on the other side. I mean, SK are trying it there on the top side, you can see.
I think there's a couple of reasons for that. So, as you can tell, like, the waves have been shoved into one lane, then someone goes and clears it, pushes it back out to the other side of the map. So it's not, like, clear that one team can push onto the other side of the map and stay there and stick in that area. So there's no real reason for them to ward it up. But also with these oracles, you know, with it being 24 minutes in, that's a lot of money to invest into a lot of ward coverage, which can hurt you later on. But also, both teams just don't want a team fight yet, it seems. They just want to make these ganks happen. Like, we saw hyrqBot come down with ocelote bottom lane to try to kill Bjergsen. Didn't work out for him. We saw Malunoo come bottom with Bjergsen to try to kill ocelote. That didn't even happen. And they're trying to work off of this roaming pit game rather than just fighting 5v5.
Kevin's just shoved out there on this mid lane. He's obviously working himself up towards that Spirit Visage. We have got the Locket of the Iron Solari done for hyrqBot as well. On the other side, pretty much the Randuin's complete for Zac.
And he also has sword boots, which I kind of want to touch on because they're watching now. I was about to say they're full AD. That's actually the other side of the map, but it helps him do a little bit extra damage because he obviously has percent with his W. And he can do a little bit more. Doesn't really need the Merc Treads because there's no one that can really CC him down. So why not go for the Sword Boots?
Sword Boots for the extra damage. Let's have a look at some of the others. The AD carries specifically. We saw early on Blade of the Ruin King for CandyPanda now has added in there that last Whisper. Other side, Bloodthirster from earlier is now added up with a Muramana, a Mana Moon, obviously. Not quite stacked up just yet. And a Sheen.
Yeah, so for CandyPanda, it's a little bit unfortunate because he wasn't able to build a Phantom Dancer, like some attack speed off the back of his Blade of the Ruin King, but he notices, like, who's going to be in his face? Malunoo, Mimer, and Bjergsen, and they all have armor, so he needs to be able to handle them. He can try to get his Spray and Pray lined up with Freeze and Deficio to hit them for some extra damage, but he has to deal with the threat that's going to be in his face, and honestly, that's a very good item build for him so far.
Oh, hyrqBot, you could get caught out here. He's going to try and get away. There's a slow on to Malunoo, but the 3 men going in there. There's a Stranglethorns. Kevin going to get knocked up into the air. Diana's coming across as well. Kevin already using that Unstoppable Force to try and get away, but Bjergsen follows him through. Nicely executed. 5-man gank there in towards that jungle. I mean, they just got caught out there, and it's going to be 5v4 if they start this Baron off.
Oh, I'm not sure this is a good move on their part. They have hyrqBot's ultimate available. He has his smite up as well. He's actually ahead of Malunoo in terms of level, so his smite's going to do a little bit more. CandyPanda is coming in from the back foot with his Spray and Pray. This could be terrible for NiP, or amazing. Depends on what the result is.
Half of Baron's health is now gone here. NiP decides to disengage. Not really going in there for the fight, but we are going to see the box coming down for NiP. He has to flash away from that one. hyrqBot going to ulti in on towards Bjergsen, and he will go down to freeze in the end. Will NiP turn and go back towards Baron?
It doesn't look like they're going to do that. They have Kevin, his teleport's almost available, and if anything, they'll just take that one kill and be like, all right, that's not bad. It could have gone a lot worse. It maybe could have gone better depending on what happened, but right now, Bjergsen, he's sitting on 2,000 gold, Joe. When he goes back and buys, I wouldn't be surprised if he picks up another Nice large rod to go for maybe a DFG or maybe go a little bit more defensive because he has a lot of damage. He realizes he's the main target to be focused right now, so maybe a GA is in his future. But either way, with those 2 kills they just picked up, NiP are going to be able to complete a lot of major items.
Yeah, GA on Bjergsen right now would be horrible for SK Gaming. How are you going to get rid of that?
You can barely
Diana?
kill him once.
Yeah, exactly.
They have to do it again.
That would be terrible, terrible times if he does go that way.
That's exactly what we saw earlier with NiP having that Yorick and that Zed combo. You can kill him once, but can you kill his Ghost right after? And as we found out, they couldn't.
Well, he's gone for a Void Staff.
Okay.
So, not quite what we were maybe thinking, but still, that adds to his damage as well. So, you know, it's not exactly a better outcome of a shopping trip there. The pink ward put down and cleared straight out with the Oracle. So that's money almost wasted there for Malunoo. The dragon is coming up here now in 3 seconds. Let's not forget, NiP took that last dragon and then lost the fight straight away afterwards. This time around, they might not go.
NiP, they should fight for this. Freeze, his mirror mana is almost completed. He's about 30 mana short at this point, actually becoming less and less as every time he shoots something. And with that power spike, with the Void Staff mixed in, with Mimer landing his ultimate, keeping Bjergsen alive, this could be an ace for them if they play their cards right.
Well, Dragon pulled out, damage taken a little bit lower. Malunoo going to come into this one, but it is going to be SK that pick it up. They've managed to get them Strangled Thorns down in there. Are they going to be able to pick up kills though? Malunoo going super low. There is Bjergsen. Wow, that was close. He does get the Zhonya's off, but he's going to die straight away after. Meanwhile, on the other side, hyrqBot going to try and delay these 4 men from pushing away. Here come the rest of SK as hyrqBot goes down. Malunoo going very low. The hook lands onto Mimer. He's flayed back into the rest of the team. There. Where's the finisher? He's so very low. Shield goes off. It's Kevin that manages to pick that one up. And that will be a 2 for 2 in the end with SK picking up the Dragon.
And ocelote played that perfectly. If you saw what he did, he ulted Freeze. He forced Freeze to get over that wall, be defensive, even forced the Strangled Thorns to be used only on him in that in NiP's side of that fight. And while that happened, Bjergsen, he's like, all right, I'm going to dive in. I'm going to do what's been working out so well for me. He went in pretty much 1v3. You saw him pop his Zhonya's at the last second, but he just could not survive. And when he goes down, when he has the majority of kills, who else is going to do the damage? Not to mention Freeze, like I said before, is pushed out of the fight already, so all you really have are tanks.
Crazy game. 7-6 in kills. The goal difference is 1,000 at this point. We're half an hour in. 4-3 in turrets there. You can see the difference across the line.
Look at the mid laners. That's a 2,000 gold difference.
Bjergsen at 308 CS at this point. 4-2-2 in kills. He's going to be getting another blue buff here to go in towards those next fights. So, Baron, has it become less of a target now after what happened there in that last one?
Well, we saw with the Neutral Makers game on day 1, they went for Baron against EG 3 times. And because of those 3 times when they already had a 5,000 gold plus lead, cost them the game. And I don't think NiP, I don't think they're going to fall for that same mistake. So if anything, just going to keep forcing the... Actually, I don't even know if they want to force these team fights because they haven't really been working out well for them. Maybe still work off that 2-man assassination squad with Bjergsen and Mimer, but Bjergsen's being forced to play a little bit more defensive here. And we do have CandyPanda down bottom. Bjergsen does have a chain vest, so he's working towards his GA. They actually, they might be able to catch him. This could be terrible.
Oh, here comes Ocelote, going to go in onto him. Here comes CandyPanda as well. The Zhonya's going to be used from this. Deathmark actually is going to go down there. And here comes CandyPanda. He's taking a lot of damage, spraying down. Bjergsen manages to get 1 kill. That True Shot Barrage would have probably taken CandyPanda out there as well. But that just shows you it takes 2 men to kill Bjergsen. And he'll still take 1 with you.
Yeah, and they barely did that. And that kind of shows that, I mean, SK, they're trying to focus Bjergsen down. They know where their threat is. And these little skirmishes that are happening in the end really haven't worked in favor of any team just yet.
Look at Ocelote's score here as well. He's not had masses of success, being involved in most of the fights here, obviously. Most of the kills, I should say. Well, no actual kills to his name. And a couple right now on his scoreboard would probably have gone a long way to helping him out.
And on the flip side of that, look at the rest of his team. Where Kevin, 4-1-1, he's very tanky, even building that Abyssal Scepter and CandyPanda. We haven't talked about him much from this game since the very beginning when he was behind in CS, but he's 2-0-5. And we've seen games where CandyPanda, if he gets a good start, if he gets on a roll with this kind of score, he becomes such a strong man for SK to depend on.
They may just have to depend on him as well as things go down. Still, that 1,000 gold pretty much lead is there for SK Gaming. Still 8-7 in kills, still 4-3 in turrets. Objectives, the pushing of them has slowed down somewhat here. I mean, the only inner turret to go down is that one in the middle lane from SK's side of things, and that was pretty much a freebie, won by positioning almost more than anything for Ninjas in Pyjamas. So it shows you neither team is really willing to start grouping up to do that pushing right now.
Yeah, and with NiP, I don't know, I think NiP now will finally start. Actually, he's actually going for a Frozen Heart. Looks like Bjergsen is, instead of a GA. But with having the Iceborne Gauntlets done now for Freeze, their poke, their disengage, their kiting potential is a lot higher now. And if NiP, I mean, if they just poke away, if they let Freeze do the damage, then Bjergsen dives in to be the assassin, like they could walk over SK. But you've seen SK with their engages that they've been pulling off. They've been beating NiP in these team fights. And if anything, they should be the ones forcing these fights right now.
Ocelote is trying to do a bit of split pushing, but he knows Bjergsen is the man that's there to head him off, and he doesn't want to fight him.
And look at the wards they've invested into that bot lane.
Yeah.
2 pinks, 1 green right now, just to make sure that they aren't spotted coming to gank him. And that is a lot of money invested in. And NiP, they're like, all right, well, we'll leave that bottom lane alone. We're looking more towards Dragon, and SK, they have a fantastic team to, or not Dragon, sorry, Baron. SK is a fantastic team to stop them from doing it too.
And NiP just clearing out a little bit there on that top side by Baron. Making sure that that actually is not going to get ninjaed away from them. And Bjergsen, he's just as scared. The thing is, if he walks around like this, unless it's like 3 men, I don't think SK are going to even trouble him.
You see Nyph, he's running away as fast as possible.
Obviously Nyph is going to run, but I think even if you've got like Kevin and Ocelote there, they might think twice even about challenging him for that. So he's got a bit of freedom when it comes to that. We've now got 2 Randuin's Omens added in for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Yeah, they're trying to slow that enemy team of SK when they do dive into the back line. NiP are actually set up. Oh, Kevin getting caught.
Yeah, Kevin getting caught from this one. The box down from Nyph as well. They're going to go in towards Bjergsen. He's taking a lot of damage. There is the Zhonya's going to be used. The Unstoppable Force was already used as well. Let's Bounce coming in. Bjergsen has actually walked away from this one, and SK are trying to react to it. CandyPanda is flashed away from the rest of his team and left them completely open to this one. Kevin going to run south, and look at Bjergsen hammering away. He's going to get that kill. He will fall to hyrqBot though, so they do manage to kill him off. But they've lost Nyph in the process, and there's now 4 men left alive here for NiP. They might be able to have this turret. No, there's a teleport coming down.
Yeah, I mean, we saw CandyPanda flash over that wall to go for Bjergsen, but he kind of lost track of where he was going.
Yeah.
And you saw how much SK committed to Bjergsen right there. So much.
Everything.
I mean, yeah, everything they possibly could. They weren't able to kill him, so he was able to flash over that wall and survive. And look what he actually picked up, another chain vest. So he's going for even more armor. He's definitely going for that frozen heart. And that's just what you have to do. I mean, even if you can get him that low, you saw him take CandyPanda down from 100% to 0. That's just crazy. That really is.
Scary stuff for SK, and they're going to go for another Dragon. And they've got a 500 gold lead. That's where we're sitting right now. Obviously, that's going to go up for them. Taking down this Dragon, which they've had all but 1 of so far in this game. So they've done a great job of controlling that. Dragon number 4, the 5th of the game, obviously with, I think it was the 3rd one going to Ninjas in Pyjamas. So got to give SK credit on that front, but when it comes to these fights, they're struggling, to say the least now.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think, as this game goes on, who's going to benefit more from this? And obviously, if you commit that much to Bjergsen every time, if he keeps building tanky, which he's doing right now, he has a significant amount of armor currently, sitting at 233 on an AP carry. When you're against an all-AD team, like, that means Freeze is allowed to roam around and pick up kills. You know, Mimer's able to get in there and, you know, land some taunts, and if Bjergsen can survive that combo and still bring 1 down with him, then Freeze is just going to kind of walk all over them. However, if Freeze gets caught and killed, then there goes a huge portion of their damage. Then they only have to deal with Bjergsen, and when you have no other person to focus on, no one else really hitting you on NiP's side when you're SK, then Bjergsen's easy to shut down.
So more wards coming in. That pink ward, is it going to be a waste? Malunoo getting hooked, but he is not the target that they really want from this one. Here we go. Unstoppable Force comes in. Bjergsen is going to use that Zhonya's Hourglass. He's going to avoid a lot of the damage, but they're going to focus right back onto him. He gets ulted up. It's a massive mess here, but Bjergsen, he is going to go down. Nyph's picked him up, but can SK now turn the damage onto this against a very tanky NiP? There is the death of Ocelote. hyrqBot's been chased down by Malunoo on the other side as well, and SK once again are forced to run. Ooh. And they might not get away this time.
He tried to flash taunt right there and missed it a little bit, but that's exactly what we just talked about, Joe. You use everything on Bjergsen, you focus him down, then Freeze is sitting there attacking you. He has a Mirror Mount, he has a Bloodthirster, he has cooldown boots, and he has the Iceborne Gauntlets. He does a lot of damage, as you just saw on the Kevin. And they can't do that. Like, they need to blow everything to kill Bjergsen, which is a really bad sign. However, that fight was still very close. I mean, Bjergsen was able to just somehow stay alive. I don't really even know.
And it's still so very tense, this game. I'm
it's
still
no one's game yet.
Kind of shaking my legs the whole time here, because this is so... I want to say close, but team fights are saying otherwise at this point. The last 3 that we've really seen have resulted in Bjergsen either not dying and SK being too low to follow through, or Bjergsen actually dying, but the rest of his team on pretty much full HP and able to do the damage there. So not looking good at this stage for SK. We've seen a Guardian Angel picked up by Ocelote. That Abyssal Scepter is now in there as well for Kevin, as a True Shot Barrage comes across and it steals away the red buff.
Very nice. Actually, no, it didn't. It didn't. CandyPanda did get that last second. I was just taking a look at his buff duration.
Well, that's that then.
It's a lot cooler. Let's just imagine you took it, even though he doesn't have the red buff around him anymore.
Yeah.
But just... But that GA, I'm trying to think, who's Bjergsen going for in these fights? And the way I'm seeing it right now is, as you do see a potential... Actually, NiP, they're going to go for this engage.
They're going to go for this engage, and Nyph has got no chance to survive. He goes down to Malunoo. CandyPanda now coming in from the backside. Bjergsen is again the focus, and again will pop his Zhonya's Hourglass as Kevin will fall. But CandyPanda is still doing the damage. Can they actually get through? Ocelote gets his GA pop. They're battling with Mimer right at the front, and Ocelote's going to come right back on into him here. This is another kill coming down for CandyPanda, and SK, having CandyPanda alive that entire time, have took a 3 for 3 there, and they're not done just yet. CandyPanda is still chasing. Malunoo actually doing a great job to really dodge that slow coming out. That could have been the death of him. But CandyPanda backs away. Is Deficio going to get away as well? Yes, he will. Not bad from SK, and that was when they got caught. And look at this, they've turned. They're going to go for Baron. 2-man Baron started.
They don't have home guard boots on anyone that's alive right now, though. Actually, Malunoo just picked up home guard boots, so he's going to try to get there in time, but I'm not sure if he's able to make it. Deficio, he can harass him. Remember, we saw him once on Lulu at this very same situation. He actually picked up 1 or 2 kills. I believe that was against Evil Geniuses. And right now, look how low SK are.
They can't do this. They can't do this. Deficio coming across the side now. They either have to keep really focused on it and do it as quickly as they can, or back away, and they are going to back away. They're going for Deficio, but here comes Malunoo flying in from the side. They need to pick a target. There is Kevin now, thanks to that teleport that he's just used to actually get involved. True Shot Barrage comes across, doesn't get enough damage to get a kill, but they've stopped SK doing Baron. Second Baron attempt thwarted in the game so far.
And all they wasted from that was just 2 flashes, which on these 2 champions, the Zyra and the Zac, it's not a big deal. And no, this is not a smart move by NiP. They should not go for this Baron because of the home guard boots, because Kevin is still there. He has his ultimate available. They have ward coverage right now. This could be terrible for NiP. This could be the turning point for SK that they've been waiting for this game. And
NiP, rightly so, he appealing away from the Baron. They've got to taunt down. Nyph once again taking a lot of damage. The box going to go in. There is hyrqBot as well as a Stranglethorns. Knock the entire team up. Here comes CandyPanda from the side. There is a great pull in from Bjergsen. He's going to have to pop the Zhonyas. Is he going to die straight away after? No, he's started to back away. And currently we have a 2 for 1. It's going to be 2 for 2 because of Malunoo there. His passive killed off. CandyPanda now stealthing up as well. Are they going to try and chase back around? Are they going to turn and go back towards Baron? So many questions still to be answered here with this fight. They're going to steal a blue buff. That's the only thing we know for sure.
Can they go for Baron? Are they willing? No, they're not willing to go for that after that, which smart move by them considering what happened the last time they went for it. But CandyPanda, he just pretty much full picked up a GA from that. Like before that, I didn't even notice how that fight began, and that pretty much eliminates Bjergsen's ability to just shoot or to knock him down right away. And that means Ocelote, CandyPanda, they're not going to really be touched too much. Obviously they're going to be attacked, but Bjergsen's assassination potential has just plummeted.
And you've noticed it in those last fights as well, that it's not been as impactful. The fact that they have focused a lot towards Bjergsen has not really caused the problems that it did earlier on for SK Gaming in this one. And SK still have a gold lead in this one. We should add into that.
And one thing that actually, I think it was Scar over in North America used to build on Diana quite a bit, Nashor's Tooth, because her passive does a lot of damage. But right now, you have Malphite, who slows your attack speed, which he's been landing every single time on Bjergsen. So that extra damage he gets from every 3rd strike just doesn't really matter too much. And he's dependent on that QW and that ultimate to really kill someone. And just like you said before, we haven't seen it anymore in these fights.
Do they want another dragon? SK Gaming would be dragon number 5 of the game, and they can do it well. CandyPanda can do this one all alone. And Tommy Gun of the Rat.
That sound.
I actually hate it, but that's just bad experiences with Twitches popping up
just
and
go into the game
with the Tommy Gun.
Go into the game, change that sound file to Jax hitting a turret. But then you might like it too much, then you might die more often.
That's a good sound as well. So here we go then. Stealth up from CandyPanda. Can they catch anyone from this? He was headed north. Entire SK team headed north. Deficio, the hook didn't quite land onto him. That was so very close. a split second earlier, and that might have been something. SK here are going to try and force position and go down middle and take the inner turret.
And that's actually a very smart move on their part, because if NiP comes in, they're going to be in a huge choke point. But luckily they do have Freeze up. He's actually back at that turret. He has great wave clear with those Iceborne gauntlets, not to mention he has a Last Whisper now. And you can just see the tension in this game. Like, you can see it on SK's face, you can see it on NiP's face, and also in the way they're just playing this game. No one wants to commit to any major team fight because they realize 43 minutes in, if you die, it's about 60 seconds. You're going to be dead for a while, and that means the other team can push so many objectives against you. And when SK, you don't have any middle turrets left except that inhibitor one, you're most likely going to lose an inhibitor from a major team fight, if not more.
There's more wards being cleared out, and hats off to Nyph. Look how much ward dominance he's managed to achieve there over the Baron. That was all blue just a few seconds ago. He's done a great job with that, but what does that mean for Ninjas in Pyjamas? They know that SK are here in the middle. Bjergsen ready to dive in at any possible moment. And SK pretty much ready to do the same from the other side as well. There is Nyph, who has been seemingly caught a lot here, but that's actually been a good thing for them because they've got him down to half and then kind of switched targets, right. And by then he's managed to lock someone up, get the box in position. So let's see from SK. They're headed back off towards the Baron. True Shot Barrage was just used, which was basically the scouting tool that they had. NiP now, they're going to phase check, Malunoo gets hooked into this one, but is he really the target that they want? Ocelote is waiting off to the side. There is the ultimate coming out on towards Bjergsen, but hyrqBot has taken a hell of a lot of damage. CandyPanda on the top side, he's going to take a lot himself, but they've killed off Freeze. There is the Zhonya's Hourglass being used. Stan United coming down. Bjergsen's still alive here. They need to finish him. They do finish him. Now Malunoo dives in, but he's not going to escape this one either. He is going to be finished off. Double kill, 3 for 1 for SK Gaming, and they turn for Baron.
Wow, that was a fantastic job by Mimer in that fight. I just want to point out a couple of things because you saw Bjergsen went into the back straight for CandyPanda into 3 members of SK. He wasn't able to burst him down right away. Eventually he got the GA done, but the thing was, he's Zhonya's. We saw Mimer come in with an ultimate on top of him, and then right as the ultimate finished, he taunted across 3 members. He almost kept Bjergsen alive, but Freeze, where did he go? He was popped.
Ocelote got him.
Exactly.
Ocelote was probably the man of that fight for SK Gaming. Exactly. He stayed on the top side, didn't get involved in the fight, went straight over to Freeze. Took him out of the fight first of all, and then took him down completely. Now SK are looking for the inhibitor turret here on this top lane. They're getting one step closer to winning this one, and then securing that position in the playoffs. Can they do it here? Inhibitor is going to go down. Rest of NiP not spawning here for 10 seconds pretty much, but SK are of course going to play this one safe and back away.
Yeah, and they're going to just take their time. I mean, there's no point in throwing the advantage that they have currently right now. And it is a big one. I mean, they're up 7,000 gold. They have that inhibitor down finally. That means they can push the bottom lane because the top one's down. And look how much money CandyPanda is sitting on. 3,500. That is not bad to spend.
Not anymore. He's just bought a Banshee's Veil straight up, which is all good. Extra bit of protection. There's a Black Cleaver for Ocelote Zed, Locket of the Iron Solari for Nyph, and along with more oracles for that vision control that he did so well of before that. Pretty much forced that phase check from NiP there.
And let's talk about how these fights are developing, because I believe there's going to be a little bit low in the game right now. So originally, SK would throw everything they had at Bjergsen. Like also even ultimate, they'd throw everything possible, every ultimate, and Bjergsen would die, but then they didn't have an answer for Freeze. Right now, Ocelote's so strong with his GA up now that he can 1v1 Freeze. And when that happens, that means SK has an answer for Bjergsen and Freeze at the same time. And that means there goes all their damage. All you really have is Mimer, Malunoo, and Deficio left, and they really don't have much damage to their names. So SK, they've held on long enough to the point where they're the stronger team now. I mean, Bjergsen, he had a strong hold on the game earlier on, but that slipped through his hands. You know, SK, they're looking to finish this game. They're looking to secure their spot.
Bjergsen does have a GA now, though. That Guardian Angel picked up by him. Entire jungle of NiP has been taken away by SK. That gives CandyPanda another red buff coming into this fight. SK have only got one inner turret left to take down, and that is in the mid lane. It's at less than half HP. For me, Kevin can just put his rocky mass in the way, and they can just take that one down without really any problems going on. hyrqBot actually just spotted one over the side, and there is that turret actually going down. So it's down to base defense here for Ninjas in Pyjamas.
And there's no reason for them to go for an engage anymore. SK, I mean, they have the tankiness on Kevin right now. It's 331 CS, over, well, exactly 100 CS more than Mimer at this point. And he has so much armor, he has so much resist, and he's such a strong person to interrupt the entire team of NiP currently. You can see him even face tanking the turret, not even taking much damage. And
shield doesn't even go down.
So if SK, if anything, they can be the ones to engage with that Malphite ultimate. But I don't know. I don't know if they're going to go for such a ballsy play like that when they could possibly be out of the playoffs if they lose this game.
Yeah, not massive range here for taking down the turrets either. That could be a bit of a problem for them. Twitch not got mega range, and the rest of them pretty much melee, aside from Thresh, who himself is not exactly super range. So with a poke, especially out of Freeze here, and out of Diana, out of Deficio, they should be able to hold on for a little while, but as we see ocelote actually going down to bottom, runs away from Bjergsen.
With Bjergsen no longer there, luckily Freeze is pretty well farmed. He has a pretty good item set. He's pretty much full built at this point, so he's able to pretty much stop their attack. And yeah, you're right. I mean, SK, they have no range to really take that turret down. If anything, they have to pop spray and pray, but CandyPanda needs that in these team fights. He needs that to just shred through all of NiP, and you're seeing SK right now. Baron's going to wear off relatively soon, and they haven't been able to take pretty much any damage onto that turret.
Should mention there's Locket there and Solaris shields as well, coming in, 2 of them on the SK side at this point. Again, tense times. The Baron buff has now run out for SK Gaming, so they don't have that currently. Does that mean that they're going to play more defensively? Is that going to cause them a few problems, as Nyph might just get set upon? Actually taking a lot of damage there, not quite rooted, and if that had landed, Nyph looked like they actually fancied their chances of getting in. But that's not the case. SK are setting up a bit of a trap on the top side. They've got men on the bottom side. They're quite content to hold NiP in their base right now.
You know what I just realized, Joe? CandyPanda had a GA, he sold it for the Banshee's Veil.
He was on cooldown.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's got loads of money, why not?
Well, I was thinking because he could have went for another item instead, but he wanted to go for that power now. He wanted to get that Banshee's Veil up so he can mitigate a lot of damage Bjergsen can put down, and we'll see how one's going to work out for him. We can see a Banshee's Veil picked up on hyrqBot. Wow. A lot of Magic just invested into the entire team so far, and he actually sells the Banshee's Veil, picks up another GA. So CandyPanda to come back to lane with another life.
Yeah, brilliant work of the shop there from CandyPanda, and that's what can happen when you approach an hours-long game with 385 CS.
There's also a slight downside to that, because he's been jumping or switching out those items. He probably could have had an Infinity Edge by now, which would have given so much more damage, but he's more content on staying safe than putting out that damage, because he knows also he'll be able to put out so much with his current item build.
Yeah, Ocelote is definitely looking scary with what he has in his arsenal right now, and pretty much everyone outside of the supports is approaching full build at this stage. It's going to be a lot about positioning, a lot about focus, at the right time to do the right things, and Baron might be that at some point in the near future. Currently, Ocelote is going to take away another dragon for SK Gaming.
And now we're 52 minutes in, so dragons don't really count that much, but they are almost up 10,000 gold here, and with this Baron coming up, like, that's going to be the next point of fighting. And luckily, NiP, they do have their top inhibitor available. Mimer, who's been with the team most of this time so far, before these fights would begin, is actually split pushing top lane, which he hasn't been able to do just yet. And I really want to know, is that one going to work out for him? Because he's got to be fast. He's got to be very quick to respond to a fight.
Yeah, people die quickly at this stage. He needs to be in there, pretty much hovering over the R button and not even looking while he's farming away. Yeah, keep your eyes on where the turrets are going to be, on where the fights are going to be, sorry. And again, NiP trying to get out of the base here, trying to get a bit of vision back on their side of the jungle, gain some ground, because SK have had them pinned into the base since that Baron was picked up. There's a hook coming through, didn't quite land onto Bjergsen, but look how they're set up. A classic pincer there with Ocelote on the bottom side of the map. He himself needs to be careful not to get caught out, but look at this. They've managed to get in there behind him. I think SK might go for the fight here from this one. Kevin starts to run in. There is the hook landing on towards Malunoo. Where is Ocelote going to go here? Surely wants to go for Freeze. Bjergsen going to pop an early Zhonya's, and there is Ocelote going towards Freeze. Done a lot of damage to him. Half HP. Unstoppable Force went on to Freeze as well, but CandyPanda himself is being melted. Bjergsen is still alive. They've not dealt quickly enough here with Bjergsen. Finally, his Guardian Angel will be be popped. Freeze is still alive though. Ocelote's going to go very low. His Guardian Angel now gets popped, and Bjergsen is finally dealt with. Freeze will lose his Guardian Angel. Can they lock them up before Freeze goes down a second time? He's trying to get away, but he won't get away. Kevin on a killing spree. There's a brilliant taunt out from Mimer, but Malunoo is low. Mimer is low. hyrqBot is still there as Ocelote finally goes down to Malunoo this time around, and Mimer is trying his best to get away there as well. That was the Shirelius pop by Deficio to help out, but there's assault and battery, and still alive. Mimer somehow is still alive from this. He's still alive. He is still alive, and he's going to walk back to base. Kevin really wants it, but he's flashed in there. Why did he go for that one at this stage of the game? Turrets are going to come in. He's going to get shut down. I don't understand that move from him. That's a 70-second spawn time that he wouldn't have had if he didn't flash in for that one. And now they're going for NiPh. He's going to try his best to flay everyone back, but
red buff Deficio.
Honestly, yeah, how do you get away from a red buff Zyra who's going to get the range on you constantly? You're not going to, there's the answer. He's going to go down, and that will be another kill for NiP. A 4 for 2 in the end.
I'm trying to see if Kevin had his ultimate available during that entire fight.
He used it on Freeze.
Oh, he did use it on Freeze. Okay, so it just came up at the end of it. So I was wondering because it was currently available, but what the hell happened in that fight? That was ridiculous. I mean, you saw Bjergsen with the addition of that GA. You saw how tanky he was sitting on 3 members of SK. You saw Freeze sit in the back. He waited for Ocelote to initiate onto him, and he was able to get away from most of the damage, able to bring him low where he got his GA popped eventually. And Bjergsen, he went straight for CandyPanda, got his GA popped over that wall, and it was just madness. And NiP coming out the victor of that fight. They're going to come with a Baron on top of this, and this is prime position for NiP to be in because they're going to have everyone up for this Baron. Oh.
Baron is going to be picked up. SK can't do diddly squat about that one.
This is the point though, is that right now, no one has GA, and when no one had GA earlier on, SK won the fights. Ocelote was able to one-shot Freeze right away, take him out of the game completely. So Freeze, I think he should sell his GA, pick up a QSS, because that cleanses the Zed debuff, and that's what's killing him. If he gets rid of that mark, he will be finding sides. But Kevin going in.
Unstoppable force going straight in on the assault and battery as well. Freeze pretty much dead right away after that as a true shot barrage comes around as well. CandyPanda going to be focused though. He's died to Bjergsen. Stranglethorn's knocked 2 up, but here comes Ocelote on towards Freeze. Stan United is on him there. Is he going to be able to get the kill? No, and Ocelote's going to die as well. This could be it here for Ninjas in Pyjamas. There are only 3 men left. Nyph tries to flay them backwards, but he gets grasping rooted down, and that will be another one. hyrqBot's right in the middle. He's trying to take down Freeze, but it's a losing battle. He's fighting. He will die to that. Kevin is limping away, injured towards base. That was a fail elastic slingshot from Malunoo. Kind of just flopped up and down like a fish out of water. But it doesn't matter because Ninjas in Pyjamas have done enough to take the game here against SK Gaming, which means things are not set in stone down at the bottom of the table. SK are gonna have to fight against Alternate. It's not quite over just yet. Kevin's putting up a big fight by the end with unstoppable force coming in, but the ace will go down, and Ninjas in Pyjamas are gonna take the game. Brilliant.
What a just fantastic game played by both teams. I don't take away from either of them. NiP coming out big with that last fight, that flash out of Kevin. It really makes me wonder if that was necessary because it cost him the Baron. And then you saw Ocelote. Actually, you saw the response by NiP of Ocelote going to that backlane on a Freeze. No, he didn't have that GA available. Everyone on NiP turned right away. Get Ocelote off of Freeze. They popped the Shen ultimate to keep him alive, and from that, he was able to survive, able to kill Ocelote. And when that threat's gone, they were able to take